We begin with the latest missile launch by the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. According to officials, Friday's missile was the DPRK's longest ever flight of an intermediate ballistic missile. The United Nations Security Council has condemned the DPRK's latest threats. CGTN's Jessica Stone is joining us now from the newsroom. Jessica, the issue with the DPRK, I have a suspicion, is going to dominate the upcoming UN General Assembly.
Some clairvoyance on your part there, Michael. But of course, we have really been following this issue, as have world leaders, and they will continue to do so at the United Nations beginning on Monday. Although there will not be two key players in the talks surrounding this particular Korean nuclear issue, those being Chinese President Xi Jinping and Russian President Vladimir Putin. Still, there will be ample opportunity on the sidelines of all of the meetings to try and move forward on penalizing Pyongyang for its nuclear and missile advancements. On the eve of the United Nations General Assembly, the UN Security Council condemned the latest Pyongyang test, longer than any previous missiles to date. This is the second DPRK missile that passed over Japan in recent weeks. Experts say the flight duration indicates it could reach the U.S. territory of Guam. U.S. President Donald Trump stood in front of an American bomber to deliver a message.
We will defend our people, our nations, and our civilization from all who dare to threaten our way of life. This includes the regime of North Korea, which has once again shown its utter contempt for its neighbors and for the entire world community.
As sirens sounded a warning in Japan, Seoul's National Security Council met and ordered missile defense drills. Just 4 days ago, the UN Security Council unanimously agreed to cut off around a third of the DPRK's oil and all of its foreign workers, textiles, and joint ventures. The sanctions won't go into effect until October.
It has become clear that the latest sanctions need to be imposed in full. North Korea needs to understand that if it continues on this path, there is no bright future.
China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs vowed to implement the new UN sanctions.
China opposes the DPRK on violating the related resolutions by the UN Security Council and making launches with ballistic missile technologies.
American national security officials say the sanctions need time to work, while the Pentagon continues to deploy more military assets to the region.
They've already started to feel it, but they're getting ready to feel 90% of their exports going away. Having said that, I have no problem kicking it to General Mattis because I think he has plenty of options.
And so for those who have said and have been commenting about the lack of a military option, there is a military option. Now, it's not what we would prefer to do.
And in the past few hours, we've learned that DPRK leader Kim Jong-un said he will complete his nuclear weapons program. Meantime, Moscow is urging a diplomatic resolution to the Korean nuclear standoff. The spokesperson, or excuse me, the foreign minister for Russia spoke with his Japanese counterpart shortly after the launch. Mike.
And Jessica, this will be the first time the U.S. president will be addressing the UN General Assembly. Do we expect him to focus mostly on the DPRK?
He does have a few other countries and problems that he wants to address. White House aides say he will urge unity to combat threats to global security, but they say he will also talk about the crisis in Syria and a threat from Iran. Our sources also tell us that Trump will host a lunch with his counterparts in the ROK in Japan. Meantime, China's top diplomat Wang Yi is also expected to meet his U.S. counterpart Rex Tillerson.